Hi guys, welcome to this tactical video. This one is a general 40k one. It's about efficiency in upgrades and basically points in general. I kind of half covered this in my how to win 40k videos, but I figured I'd go into a lot more detail because there's a lot of scope there for things, and hopefully you can get a clear idea of what I'm talking about and that kind of thing. And while this applies to absolutely any army in the game, I'm using Sisters of Battle for this example, because obviously that's the army I play, and they've got a very good set of examples for this. Okay, so we've got a bunch of models in front of us. We're going to start on this end, which is basically Dominions and Battle Sisters, and that's not really focusing, but whatever. Let's just zoom out a little bit and then we can see better. Anyway, so we've got the one with a flamer, we've got the one with a melter gun. Okay. Now, flamers and melter guns are pretty much bread and butter for Sisters of Battle. If you play Sisters of Battle, you're going to want flamers, you're going to want melter guns. The thing is, like, although you can put them everywhere, like every troop or fast attack can take either a flamer or a melter gun. Even things like command squads can do it, and Celestians, you know. The thing with point efficiency is that basically you try and get the absolute most out of each little point you spend. So you get the most effectiveness out of every single upgrade you take, where you put things and that kind of thing. So you basically have a perfectly refined and streamlined list, and if you can do that for every single unit across your army, your list is going to be way stronger than it would be otherwise. It really does make a huge difference. So here, for instance, you have a flamer, you have a dominion. This is a pretty simple. Sorry, you have a flamer and melter gun. This is a simple example because of dominions, basically. Dominions have the scout special rule, okay, and while they're more expensive, they also have the ignores cover rule. So a flamer already ignores cover, okay, makes sense. It needs to be up close, just like the melter gun. Okay, so the scout would apply to both of them. That's good. Okay, the ignores cover would not apply to the flamer, and it does apply to the melter gun. So already the melter gun is a slightly better choice. Okay. Now the other good thing about the melter gun being there is because scout gives you outflank and that first turn thing, because you could always move 12 inches. Before the first turn, that means that you have the chance of popping a tank straight away, and because a lot of games start with enemy troops in vehicles on the front line, then you know popping those vehicles is the first thing you usually need to do. So having that scout benefit for the melter gun is good there. You know, more than the flamer, and also because it can outflank, it can get behind and hit rear armor, which again is a point for the melter gun. So already the melter gun is slightly pulling ahead for the dominions. Okay, so obviously that means the melter gun's a better choice for dominions than the flamer. Okay, now let's go into it and look at if they were on battle sisters. Okay. So basically, same thing again, they need to be up close. They can get up close with transports, but they obviously don't have the scout move, okay? So the positioning is slightly harder. So in this sense, they're both kind of even, okay? The things that Battle Sisters get are the fact that they can take units with lots of bolters, they can secure objectives, okay? And they have preferred enemy in shooting. So, what this basically means is, who's getting the most benefit from preferred enemy? Well, rolling to hit, you know, you get it with a melter gun, so yeah, you have to roll to hit with that, you don't on that. Okay, so that's kind of a point in the melter gun's favour, a little bit, okay. Then rolling to wound, a melter gun is going to wound on a 2 against most things. Okay, if you roll a 1, then at least you get to re-roll it with the preferred enemy. However, it's going to be rare you need that re-roll. Okay, and because of that, the flamer is getting more hits because of its template. That means for each one you roll, you're getting more benefit from that preferred enemy. So in other words, the flamer is a better choice there. Okay, because you're getting more potential out of that special rule. And then of course it combines with the shooting the bolters, so it's an anti-infantry weapon instead of anti-tank, so you're not wasting bolter shots when you shoot at a tank. And mainly because they are there to take objectives, okay? The things that hold objectives usually are infantry, and what kills infantry better? Flamer. So, there you go. The Flamer is a very slight, remember, very slight, better choice for troops than the Melter Gun. Okay, whereas the Melter Gun is a slightly better choice for Dominions than the Flamer. So obviously, in a good list, you take your Flamers on your troops, and you take your Melter Gun on your fast attack Dominions. That is points efficiency, because the points are exactly the same cost across the board, the stats are the same as the models, but you are basically making the most of those special rules and how the weapons apply to them. Okay, so that's the simplest scenario. So here's another scenario, okay? We have a multi-melter sister, a heavy flamer sister, and a multi-melter immolator, okay? Now, obviously these things are very different. Now, let's cover the multi-melter first, okay? Multi-melters on infantry do not work, usually. The reason being is because they're heavy weapons, of course. So that means if you move at all, you are snapshotting. Now, the other drawback with a multi-melter is it's 24-inch range, which is great. It's basically great as a high-strength weapon that ignores armor, okay? So long as you don't move, of course. The problem being 24 inches is when things start getting dangerous. So anti-infantry weapons start coming into their own at 24-inch range. And a multi-melter is an anti-tank weapon. That's why the melter special rule exists. So you need to be within that 12 inches, really. And the problem is, of course, you're only really getting the effectiveness of a multi-melter if you stay still. And there is the problem, okay? Now, on a vehicle can move 6 inches with a weapon and then still fire it as full ballistic skill. And also, of course, on the immolator it's twin-linked, but, you know, the costs should be different anyway. So, basically what this means is a multi-melter is always going to be better placed on a vehicle because it can move and shoot. And because it's such a short-range weapon, that mobility really does matter. If it was a very long-range weapon, it wouldn't matter so much, you see. Again, it's a slight thing, and there may be certain units in the game with special rules where, you know, they're relentless or something like that, in which case it changes things a bit, but you have to be able to look at each unit and each upgrade independently and see where could it be placed to the most effectiveness in the army. And in this case, it is a vehicle rather than that. Now, the heavy flamer sister is a completely different scenario because, of course, she's not snapshotting because it's an assault weapon. Now, you can also take a heavy flamer on the immolator. Here is where I'd say you're better off taking on a sister because, basically, she can move 6 inches and flame, okay? This can move 6 inches and flame. This cannot move 12 inches and flame, okay? If she... she could always shoot further than that because she has the bolt pistol, for instance, or grenades. So she does actually have that slight bit more range where she can reach out and touch more than a heavy flamer immolator could. Okay. There is the other thing that, generally speaking, she would be buried in the squad. She has that armor save. Okay. She could hide much easier to protect the upgrade. Like she could hide out of line of sight, that kind of thing. And of course, any vehicle, well, almost any vehicle except for super heavies, have the potential to basically blow up in a single turn. So, even though all these chances are very slight, you can see because of these factors that basically the heavy flamer is slightly better on a battle system than it would be an immolator. Now, this isn't a all-encompassing rule. This can change depending on how your army is built, but this is the general principle that I'm trying to put forward. So, yeah, more points efficient in that sense. You're getting more for the points you spent. Okay, so here's a little test I've set up, basically. We've got two sister superiors. One has a combi weapon, one has a plasma pistol, and even though I use this as Uriah Jacobus today, he's just being a priest, because currently I'm repainting my priests, so they look ugly. Okay, so let's just take her out of the equation for the time being. So you have a Sister Superior and a priest. Okay, they're going to be in the unit of Battle Sisters. You have 2 upgrades. One of them is a combi weapon. Okay, one of them is melter bombs. Who should you put them on, or how should you distribute these? Okay, I would say, generally speaking, the best place to put these weapons is on the priest. Okay, now why is this? It's because he's an independent character. So if the unit is targeted, and for some reason the priest is taking the wounds, he can always use his 2-up lookout sir roll to pass the wound off to a generic sister. Okay, and if she fails her saves, she dies. Okay, he stays alive. He keeps those upgrades. He stays alive much longer because of that 2-up lookout sir. And if you're unlucky, he'll fail it. But you've got that extra chance there of preserving the upgrades. Okay. Now on top of that, chances are you'd want to preserve the priest anyway because he gives so many special rules. So as a result, it means you're not, you've only got the one character you need to kind of protect, and you can position your troops around and that kind of thing. Now of course that can be dangerous against certain things like Vindicar assassins and that kind of thing. But those are special situations. I'm just talking generally for now. The other benefit is, of course, being an independent character, you could always hop out the unit, join a completely different unit, and he's still got those upgrades. So, because of that, you get more choice there. Okay? Now, here's another little thing, combi weapon-wise. The best thing you could put on him is a heavy flamer. Why a heavy flamer? Because... Sorry, a combi flamer. Because his ballistic skill is worse than hers, and you don't need to roll to hit with a combi flamer. So if you had a combi flamer and another combi weapon like combi plasma or something, then obviously combi plasma's better on her, combi flamer's better on him. You see, it's the same points as the upgrades, it depends on where you put them. Okay, now conversely you could say, say if you had a power weapon, like she's got a power molder, okay? Out of the 2, where would you put the power weapon? I would suggest putting it on her in this case, because he's already got melter bombs, and there may be situations where he can use those melter bombs, okay, instead of, like, against monstrous creatures, instead of, like, a generic weapon. At which point the power maul is also useful to put on the superior. Okay, now, okay, he gets more attacks, and you'd have to weigh it up depending on how you did things, but I'm just saying, in general, then you'd be better off putting it on her if he's already got these upgrades, you see. And also then it does spread the points around. So again, it depends on what you're trying to build, but that's one option. Okay, and then we'll bring her in, and okay, so she's got a plasma pistol. Would you rather have the plasma pistol on her or on the priest? Now, personally, I would rather have the plasma pistol on her. The reason being is because, first off, she has a free up armor save. So if she fails that that gets hot roll, okay, she has a higher chance of surviving it, okay, thus preserving your upgrade, okay, and then of course the longer you stay alive, the more chances you get to shoot it. Okay, second thing is she's got 1 point higher ballistic skill, okay, so that means she's hitting more often. Because of that, it means you're getting more for your points from taking that upgrade. And finally, is because of her preferred enemy act of faith, you're re-rolling those ones to hit, at which point the gets hot thing is much safer. Okay, so, and again, with each re-roll you got a higher chance of getting a hit instead. So you are getting more for your points by putting the plasma pistol on her than on him. That's basically it. Is just have a look at your army list and see what kind of upgrades you've taken. Basically, is there another way to position them in the squad? Is there another way to to give them to another unit where they would actually have a slightly higher benefit. Because these are the kind of things you can tweak pretty easily. Excuse me. And if you did, then you know, your entire list will be a lot more effective for it. So yeah, that's basically it. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, remember to click like, and if you have any comments or questions, then remember to leave them in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can, and if you want to see more tactical videos soon, then remember to subscribe. And that's it basically. Thanks for watching.